Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is invertedjokerr, and this is Lethal Ramz. This is all going to be recorded from his point of view. He is a pro player for, of course, Team Lethal. And Ramz, go ahead and tell him about yourself.
Well, hey guys, I know I'm Lethal Ramz, aka Runaround Man 123, and like Joker said, I play for Lethal Gaming, and I figured that we would just run through a couple maps here, different bomb sites of defense, maybe a little offense, depending on how we're feeling, and hopefully this will be helpful to the uh, not necessarily the competitive player trying to go pro, but the player who plays ranked and just wants to have fun and wants a little bit of structure to their game. So
Yeah, and of course, like this will help with ranked people, but not all strategies are going to work in rank. But if you go into rank with like a strategy, you're going to do a lot better than you would just running around shooting people in the fucking face. But if you are trying to go competitive or like even playing game battles, these will help you out a lot, especially if you're on the fives ladder or you're looking to just do Sunday tournaments. So
yeah,
this is like the most common first pick for a bomb site, unless you're just trying to like throw the enemy team off. But first off, of course, we're gonna have to hit those hatches. But what else are you gonna do here? Like you're gonna get kitchen hatch and you're gonna get bar hatch. But what else are you gonna set up here if you're
well,
just running a common strategy?
for the most common strategy, you have to get the construction tunnel 100%. Somebody, most likely your heavy operator will go in there because the light speed operators like Jaeger, Smoke, Valkyrie, Bandit have other things to do. Not necessarily you don't have to necessarily run those ops, but just for example, you have fast operators go upstairs. You get the kitchen hatch, the bar hatch, and the stockroom hatch, just so there's no hesitation of whether or not you
Yeah,
got
and
a
you don't have
hatch
to
or
worry
not.
about who's getting it and if you got it or not.
Yeah, then you got one person going to get the construction tunnel, so that's 5 total reinforcements used there, which means you have 5 left. So, me personally, I would rather have this whole wall reinforced, this whole church wall by the hallway and the staircase, just because it's easier to make a kill hole somewhere in this wall or a rotate hole here and have someone play in there underneath the stock hatch. So then you can have someone sit back here behind this air generator, control this room, and if they have to run, then they can come through the hole that someone's made, wherever it may be, or whatever. You don't necessarily need to reinforce these walls here. It's actually sometimes nice to leave these 2 walls unreinforced so that every once in a while you might be like, oh, there's someone in there, and you just kind of wall bang them here and there, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but other than that, equipment wise, it's going to be obviously to your team's preference where you want them. Like, some people want a Jaeger
Yeah. If you have
here
a
so
guy
that,
like watching long haul here and they're watching stairs, of course, if in the chance, because generally, commonly, right, you're gonna see like your Blackbeard player either pushing this way or possibly even through cave, right? Correct. So that'll eliminate flashbangs or grenades from that side if someone is playing through this site, right?
I was going to add on to that because Blackbeard on this site specifically can dictate a lot of how the game flows. Like, some people will actually put Blackbeard at the front door, and he's very effective at
Yeah.
preventing a rotate through this hallway. And if anybody ever peeks the
And then
hallway and they're
also,
just not paying attention, Blackbeard will pick them off. But that's why you have the rotate hole here, so that if you do know Blackbeard's there, you don't have to go through the hallway to get to the other room. You can try to control the garage and try to get in here quickly, or at least hold an angle or something.
you hear me open that up just for our future reference. But
Yeah,
that also that's where this wall being reinforced comes into play because like with the meta this season, generally you're seeing takes over here rather than the hatches and garage tunnel, right?
yeah. But one thing I do want to say though is just because you have the kitchen hatch reinforced doesn't mean that you're going to be safe in this area,
Oh yeah,
because
definitely,
they'll
definitely.
have they'll have a buck or a sledge come in here in this area and just hit up the floor, just kind of destroy it a bunch, just to try to scare you, move you around, and Thermite might try to come and get the hatch. So I'll just show you guys a kill hole real fast. I might not get it on the first try because I actually don't use it a lot, just because it's not necessarily my job on the team to watch a hole like this.
Here, I'm gonna blow this out with an impact, but guys, definitely don't make this hole like
Yeah, just make the
enormous
hole. Yeah,
per
just
se.
make a hole
Make
there,
it
and
enough so you can see it.
yeah, you make a hole here, and you shoot out right here, right where this hole is. So what this does, go up there so that they can see. Go up to the hatch so that they'll see what I'm talking about. So when you're standing right here, and people will blow up the hallway to get you out of this spot, so don't think you're safe here either. But look, see, look, Thermite's trying to go get the hatch right there, and you just if he's not expecting it, you just kill him from here. And the counter to that, if he comes to the other side of the hatch, you open up a hole here, and this is a good spot too to look through. And if Thermite's not paying attention, you can just hit him a little bit, and if you don't kill him, you can at least prevent him from thermiting. He'll get scared and like run away.
Yeah, that's where your players in Arsenal and in Church are gonna not deny that hatch.
Right. But watch out. But always remember, kill holes go two ways. So somebody could literally just get up there, lay down on top of the hatch, not even trying to get it, and just shoot you from there if you're not paying attention. So always be aware and try to have your Valkyrie, if you have one, placing cams to watch your vulnerable areas.
Yeah. Okay, so what players, who would you have, what operators would you have playing in A, B, maybe even in blue back here? Do you guys ever run a roamer? Like, which operators are you going to run?
Typically on this map, it's very difficult to roam because there's so many choke points in relationship to the bar and the staircase and the garage, placing a claymore, things like that. But typically the operators that you would run would be a Jaeger, a Rook, a Valkyrie, a Castle, and maybe a Frost or a Bandit, depending on how aggressive the thermiting is when it comes to some of these other walls, not necessarily the hatches. But you try to have Rook either playing in here behind this box so he can rotate looking at different areas like at the hallway wall and the garage tunnel wall, or you have him playing here behind the bomb, watching here and into the blue tunnel, maybe peeking the hallway a little bit. Then you've got Jaeger or another fast operator like Pulse playing in the garage tunnel, trying to hold an angle here. The only reason you want him in here is because you have the ADSs you can set up for yourself in certain spots, and you're fast, so you can get out of an area quickly. Say if like a flame bolt comes down, you can just hop through here, reposition yourself. You want to have somebody, until they get this hatch open with thermite, which will happen against any good team, but you'll have someone sitting here watching the staircase, because this angle is difficult for enemy players coming down the stairs to fight, only because if someone's watching it, they have to come around and crouch and look through, and even then they're not even going to see your head. They're going to see the top of your like all I see is his foot and his arm. Other than that,
really quickly, I can just do like a jiggle peek, or I can even crouch to see your head really quickly. And if I can just tap fire really quickly, I can hit your head, and it's a lot harder for you to hit me because it's a tighter angle for you.
Exactly. So other than that, when it comes to operator positioning, if you had a smoke, just depending on where you think the push is coming from or where you can predict them to be attacking, depending on the round count, you can rotate smoke to wherever you want to deny entry the easiest, if that makes sense. And then Valkyrie,
right. And
I'll pick Valkyrie for this one, and I'll throw a couple of cams just to like show, for example, like where a couple of them could go.
And to hit your point again with the pushes, like generally when you see teams that are less experienced or they haven't had a lot of experience on a certain map, you see their smoke burning his gases way too early, and that end game is where smoke shines, and he doesn't really get to, deny that entry that is so, important that you deny.
Right. Now these cams are not necessarily the best cams. It's all going to depend on your strategy that you're trying to run with your team. But these cams, the reason I'm positioning them where they are is not only are they entry points, but they're areas where an enemy attacker isn't going to want to turn around and put his back to where an enemy might be just to look for a cam. Like, it's scary for an attacker to come down a staircase, get spotted, and now you're like, oh shit, where is this cam? And you're looking for it, and you're like, oh, I don't see it. And then you turn around and you try to shoot it.
And I'm in Memorial, I'm popping your head.
Yeah, like, you're turning around trying to shoot a cam, and someone just comes out and gets you. Another good spot just to have a cam, because sometimes the construction tunnel isn't always the easiest reinforcement to hear getting destroyed, so you just want to throw a cam somewhere in here that, you know, wherever you prefer it. It could be like right behind this little plank of wood. That wasn't a good throw, but you get the idea. You know, you throw it somewhere where they're not going to see it right away. So if you put it right there, coming around the corner here, I'm not even, like, if I'm not looking for that specifically, like, I'm not going to see it there. I'm just going to come around, and I'll be sitting right here, you know, trying to head glitch, or sitting here trying to head glitch. And if you get on the cam here, you should be able to see me. Yep, yeah, you can still see me, even though, from my point of view, it's not obviously readily available.
Right, and those help a lot also in late game when, you know, they have, let's say 50 seconds, and they have to worry about finding that camera. You know, say they're down 3 to 5. They don't want you to know exactly where they are. I mean, you might know that somebody's in cave, but if you don't know that they're at the doorway, right, it's going to be a lot harder. You know, if you know you have two people pushing Memorial, and you can't quite rotate in time. That's an extra, you know, 10 seconds or 20 seconds they have to burn looking for that camera.
Yeah, and not only that, Valkyrie cams in conjunction. I'll just caveat off what you were saying. If the pushes that they're doing are very slow, you can supplement some of your gunfighting a little bit for setting traps like Frost and Capcan. Because if they're too busy looking for cameras and looking around, and then it comes down to the last 15 seconds, and it goes 15 seconds left, and you know, 4 guys are all trying to push an OBJ. If you just have a Capcan trap somewhere on a common entry, like right here, or at this church door over here, which I know a lot of this stuff is going to get destroyed by grenades and things like that, but if by chance you do have them on these doors and they're trying to push, you're going to at least kill one person. And the reason I'm marking the spots that I'm marking for these traps is because say a guy drops down this hatch and he's coming and he has to find the trap. He's safe here to shoot the trap if it's somewhere on this side. But if he's here trying to shoot the trap,
he has to expose himself.
Yeah, he has to expose himself 100%. That's why it's the same thing over here. This guy is safer shooting the trap. Well, not actually. This spot's not so safe either way, but I prefer here because you'd rather them come all the way around and then have to re-expose himself to the entire room as opposed to only having to expose themselves to like roughly 1/5 of the room, which is over there.
Right. So, especially, like, to re-hit the point that you're saying, if there's only 15 seconds left and Thermite drops, he's not going to be looking for that fucking trap anyway, unless that was already droned or somebody called that trap out. But you also got to remember, you're going to have someone in here somewhere, and you're also, if it's only Thermite and, let's say, Blackbeard, and that's only, like, an example, but Blackbeard's coming from cave, and Thermite is coming from this drop, this hole over here, somebody's gonna rotate from there, and you might have someone coming from hallway, but you're definitely gonna have someone on Bravo in the perfect circumstance anyway. So
yeah,
that really eliminates Thermite right then and there.
Something that I'm trying to reach this cam. Something that I wanted to go over real fast in relation to some advanced tactics. Let me try to grab one of these cams. Advanced tactics on this map obviously include C4ing somebody through the floor while they're in the hallway. That C4 I'm pretty sure is positioned at the kitchen door, not 100%. But if you want to, you know, get tricky, yeah, it's pretty much right next to the kitchen doorway. If you want to get tricky and, you know, throw off some enemies, throw a cam somewhere in this general area, or even maybe up here above this exit sign, and you have somebody watch it, and when Thermite or somebody's running down this hallway, because this is a common point of movement, point of entry, you can just set off the C4 and, you know, because you'll be watching it from here. You'll be able to be like, oh, okay, they're right there. And you just try to call it out with the right timing to have them set it off. So that's just an advanced tactic.
That's definitely like a buck or a sledge or a Thermite bait, 100%. And those are 3 of the most useful operators you're going to see on attack. So
yeah,
that's them gone
definitely.
right then and there. And they can't even hear that C4, which is the best
part.
They
can't hear it. It's right. I'm pretty sure it's right here where I just placed it. And that was randomly throwing it without ever really doing this. I don't want to blow you up, so Just
Yeah. Well, here, go ahead.
all right. It was a little further. It was a little further than I thought it was, but still, like that's good enough to where if you see them breaking down the door,
Well, I mean, if I'm even right here, I'm dead. Like that's
yeah, like
right
if
here,
you
I'm
just
dead.
see them break down the door and you're like, oh, set it off right here. You know, even if they're right here at the doorway, or if you want to set it up anywhere in this general hallway area, and you remember where it goes, then you'll get somebody. And getting one person with a C4 is huge, even because then it makes them scared to move over here. And especially if you have a pulse, like with or something like someone trying to shoot back at them through the floor, it freaks them out. They don't know what to do.
And they don't know if that was Valkyrie C4 or if that was Pulse's C4. So they really don't know what to do then.
Yeah.
And not only that, like 9 times out of 10, you're gonna catch Sledge or Buck somewhere around here.
Yep. Definitely.
All right, so that pretty much sums up Arsenal. So which objective, when we do respawn here in 50 seconds, do you want to go over next?
Well, we'll go over the bar just because that's definitely the most, I'd say the most commonly and easiest. It's easier to defend than cash room and bedroom, that's for sure, because those places are
Yeah.
absolute, an absolute
Those are
nightmare.
really death traps.
Yeah, absolute nightmare, 100%.
And I am out of impact, so it looks like we're either gonna A, have to kill ourselves if we don't have really that much time to jump off the roof, or B, we can try to kill each other.
Yeah, we can try
There
it.
you go, ready?
One,
Set.
2, 3. Oh, that didn't work.
The
out
voice
the way
lag there was real.
that didn't work out the
The
way I thought
timing
it
was
would.
real.
Sorry.
Oh well, 5 seconds. All good.
All right.
And there's the beautiful, beautiful church there.
Exactly.
All right. So we are going to a bar in Stockroom.
Yep.
You know, and occasionally, on occasion, you'll see teams pick bar and stock over armory. Well, for church for the very first round. So
Yeah.
generally, those are going to be the most two-played objectives on this
Yeah,
map.
for sure.
You know, occasionally, if you're getting beat, you know, 4-0. Sometimes, occasionally, you'll see somebody pick cash room or bedroom just because, you know, something didn't work, you know, 4 times in a row and they just try to switch it up, you know, give it a last-ditch effort. But,
Yeah.
yeah, so what are we going to do here to start this off?
Well, first things first is somebody definitely has to C4 or impact nade or even just take a shotgun and shoot out some holes in this. Because you want to always, a general, you know, consensus is you want to connect the bomb sites so
Yeah,
you never
connect the
have to
bomb
have an
sites.
issue getting in between the two of them or having a line of sight, at least inside of it somewhere. Now, definitely you're going to want to reinforce behind the bar, this hallway, both these sets of walls, so that's 4 reinforcements there. You reinforce the garage wall, and you put bandits on it, just because you can. Like, why not?
Yep.
And then, you know, you're placing your barbed wire at just every doorway, pretty much. Every doorway, if you have enough barbed wire, it just needs to have one, just because you don't want anyone just running inside and picking somebody off and whatever. Other than that, you're reinforcing the strip club wall. I mean, there's a couple variations of the strat where you're reinforcing inside the strip club, but that's more advanced and it takes a little bit more coordination to do that, especially since you're spreading yourself out so thin. But you got your 2 here, 2 there, 2 in the garage, 2 here, and then you want to have. I'm trying to think exactly how. The last 2 reinforcements, you can kind of put them anywhere you want, really. It doesn't necessarily matter.
Generally is you see it's common to reinforce the patch or blow it open for someone that may or may not be playing above.
I would honestly, I'd say just in general, you want to have it open. Just because, say the entire enemy team does push strip club, and they're not even focusing on the upstairs. That hatch, when you're in the strip club and you're coming in here and you're trying to watch angles and figure out where people are, you're not always looking up at this hatch, and it's easy for somebody in the hatch to look down here and at least wait. Even if you just wait for someone to run in here and try to plant the bomb in a common spot like this, is just a common plant spot. You know, you just kill them then, and then now it forces the enemy team into a really awkward scenario where they have to try to get the bomb back. But places that you want to have people sitting 100%, you definitely want to have one somewhere in this area. Definitely trying to watch the front door peek a little bit, trying to watch this doorway a little bit just to be safe. You want to have this hatch open.
It's a quick rotation back to stairs or back around a garage.
Yeah, you have that hatch open and some barbed wire and a Jaeger here, just so you can have somebody sit in this area and make sure nobody just runs right into either of these places and tries to plant the bomb. And if they get in trouble, you know, they just drop down the hatch. Typically, you'll see a lot of people play a Valkyrie shotgun right here, but really you can play anybody. It doesn't matter. Smoke would be another option. Not necessarily with a shotgun, but just because of entry denial.
Yeah.
Something that I want to show people, just because I feel like it would, you know, make the game a little bit more exciting. You don't have your impact nades anymore, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, with the caveat of opening up the hatch in the gym, you have people open up kill holes here in this wall to try to look down the hatch at a weird angle. This is obviously too far back to really get an angle looking down there, but you never know. But just having this wall open so you can move in and out is good. This is another spot you could actually put your last 2 reinforcements up here if you want to have someone sit up here. But other than that, you definitely want to open up this wall so somebody can run through it, and you open up this wall into the cash room straight ahead. And the reason you do that is because even a 3 armor operator can run in between these 2 holes without getting detected by the enemy, and it can really throw some people off. If they've droned out the cash room and they think it's clear, and the next thing they know they're getting flanked from cash room, they're gonna be all kinds of fucked up. So.
And not only that, like a lot of teams, you know, they're not gonna be very happy with whoever droned that and didn't realize that there's a hole there, or they just called out that it was completely clear and the hole wasn't there before initially. So that'll also, you know, that'll help you out next round, because you may or may not have that other team arguing with each other or not getting along. But really quick to add, if you're just playing ranked and maybe you're only queued with 2 other people that you actually know and the other 2 aren't talking, definitely reinforce this damn wall right here, because pool room plant is always 100% going to be like, well, not always, I shouldn't say, because there's always going to be new metas, but they're going to try to plant around pool table somewhere if you're not paying attention to it. So definitely reinforce that wall.
Yeah. another more advanced tactic in relation to the kill holes upstairs and rotating between bombs. If you have somebody playing Pulse, you can have someone play Pulse and you just have them sit up here. Or if you're like, say you're Pulse and you're in a 3v1 and they're planning in the stock room, you come up here as Pulse and you just pulse around and wait for someone to sit still, and they're most likely the planter, and you kill them. Once you kill them, you just keep looking around. Then you got a guy trying to run up on the stairs on you, and you're spreading them out really thin and wasting a lot of their time. So you want to have someone playing Pulse on this bomb site, not only because he's fast and he can rotate quickly between the 2 upstairs areas, but just because you have that extra little motion sensor to make sure nobody's planting somewhere in the bomb with unbeknownst to you and your team's knowledge. And that's another reason you have Valkyrie too, is if you don't have a Pulse, you can have Valkyrie camera up here somewhere, and you can have someone up here just shooting the spots. Even though that's not as efficient, it still is an effective tactic at the at the casual, ranked, not so competitive levels.
And generally, just really quickly to hit it off, who would you generally have, besides someone that's upstairs, who would you have holding bar, and where would they be? You know, just as a general, even if they had to rotate?
Well, if you have your Rook or your Doc sitting somewhere, you can have them sit on top of the jukebox, at least until they open this up, because this is just an interesting spot. If someone comes up the stairs, they might not look at it. But you can also make a kill hole above the reinforcements here, watching the top of the stairs. And
Yeah,
with an
and
ACOG scope, you can look straight up there at the staircase, and they're not going to be looking for that. There's no way they're going to be looking for that unless they absolutely 100% know you're right there.
Definitely. So, do you think that we have more things to cover with bar, or do you think that we should move on to the next objective, or do you think this is pretty much thoroughly covered?
I think that bar is a very complex bomb site to defend. So I think we could go over some more of it because there is so much more that goes into this bomb site that just because it's a typically picked bomb site on this map, but there's so many different things that can occur here that you don't normally see